solo electric guitar is basically you're playing guitar and then you're also doing a guitar loops on the side, right? Where you record little parts of what you're playing and it starts to repeat, you know, and then you can drop things down an octave to make it sound like a bass, or you can swell things in, right? Kind of make it sound like a keyboard, that kind of thing. Right? So there are all kinds of different sounds you can get. Still pretty experimental.
Back then, I was still using my old setup. My old setup was quite complicated, very complicated, too complicated. It had 2 racks, one guitar rack and one looping rack. And then I also had 4 Marshall 212 cabinets and 2 PA cabinets, plus a bass cabinet. A huge pedal board that had 2 boomerangs and a looping pedal board. It also had a MIDI mitigator pedal board. Pretty much a huge setup, and very complicated, and it took a long time to get it set up. And to be honest, a lot of times I was doing this on my own, or maybe with the help of one friend or 2 friends, to set up the show. And by the time I set up the show, I was exhausted. And, you know, then to have to face playing for 3 to 4 hours non-stop with no breaks. And not only that, all the material was improvised on the spot. You know, there were no worked out songs at all. I'm thankful for that now, because it really helped to develop my style. But back then, it was quite nerve-wracking, really, and you know, it was a learning process too. It's very complicated to wire that setup for every show too. I mean, you know, there was a mixing board, and I just out of the mixing board, there were like 16 different cables that you had to basically set up and plug in every time. Unfortunately, I didn't have the luxury of any kind of custom cables, so a lot of times, you know, a cable that had to go from one processor to another was maybe, you know, a foot in distance, and you know, I would have to use a 6-foot cable to do it. So behind the rack, the parts that you don't see in this video clip, is just the, I don't know what to call it really, just bundles and bundles of cables, of guitar cables. You know, I probably spent a fortune in guitar cables, and you know, if one cable goes bad, the whole sound is ruined.
playing tonight is all the songs and everything are improvised as well. There's no, some of them have an underlying workout structure, but for the most part, I'm just going to try to play. And it's very interesting because I guess you never know what you're going to get. And, you know, some things work better than others.
I was taking a lot of risks there, really. When you don't have any workout material, there's no real way to work out ahead of time the show at all. There's no way to really, you know, practice songs that you've played a million times before until they're perfect. It's not like that at all. It's really the part that, to me, makes it so very interesting, and there are magical moments that can happen, but also you can fall flat on your face. You definitely have to take risks, and take the risk of making a mistake on the stage. You know, and unfortunately, you know, when you're playing solo, it all lies on you. You know, you can't blame the bass player for a mistake. You know, give him a dirty look. So you're really on your own there. At the same time, it really helps to develop your playing too. You know, if you're willing to take that chance, a lot of times you find that you come up with leads and ways of playing that you haven't thought of before, which is pretty exciting, really. And I'm always surprised when I see these videos that some of the things that I've played are very good. So once in a while, usually in the very beginning, I'll see a mistake or two. And I think also part of the development, really, as a player, is turning a mistake, you know, a wrong note or something, into something musical, really, something musical that fits. That's really an art form in itself. You know, if you hit the wrong note, but you can, you know, bend that note up to the right pitch in a certain way, so that sounds very musical, almost intentional in a way. You know, it's not cheating necessarily, but it really, that's something I learned just over the years, really, just developing as a guitar player.
So it's a pretty risky business up here, you know. You hit the wrong note, and if you start looping that note, right, it's just going to come back and haunt you over and over again. So I try to avoid that if I can.
Like anything, you know, when you're improvising like that, you know, if you hit a wrong note or something like that, it really snaps you out of the moment. And oh yeah, what key am I in? That kind of thing. What key am I in, and how do I get it back together? You know, and I'll tell you, I'm quite surprised as I keep doing it and keep improvising like that. I find that mistakes tend to pretty much disappear. Really disappear. I mean, there's certainly a lot of the shows. You know, I played for 3 or 4 hours, you know, improvising everything on the spot, but there were just no errors at all. No errors as far as notes, or, you know, being in the wrong key, or fretting a chord the wrong way, that kind of thing. Or when you're picking, you know, especially when you're picking quickly, hitting open strings by mistake, and those kinds of things. And I do recall that when I first started playing, that wasn't the case at all. It was, you know, it was probably one mistake after another, actually. Okay, not really.
see, I also just kind of CD release party kind of a little bit. I guess they made me a nice thing here. But this is my new CD. Here it is. Very nice. There's a pretty interesting story to this one. It's made in Canada. That's the first thing. And I have no idea how much trouble that was. Just getting it there and things like that. Well, they tried to rush these basically. And they did a nice job. I mean, they're here, right? Great. It was pretty funny on the inside, you know. There's like where they were supposed to put a photo, instead of the photo, it says face photo at bottom of page. That's okay. So anyway, they tried. They also, there's a bonus song on there, I guess. There's supposed to be 12 songs. And when I sent it, there were originally 13 songs. They were supposed to omit one. I guess they forgot, so it didn't quite match the